if the chat works now.
I wonder.
Yeah, I tried to make some. So what do you guys think? Should I just? Yeah, I think I'm gonna upload a video at the same time. Fuck it. There we go. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Easy.
I mean, publish.
Yeah, publish the video. Oh god. Well, at least it's saying excellent connection, so I guess it's not that bad. So Genu mentioned something that we should wait a bit before we go.
I mean, it's more like having like a pre-stream card, so like, you know, oh, it's live.
Oh,
And then
well,
people stick around to wait for it to start. Too late now, but yeah.
it's too late. It's definitely too late now. And Velvet, can you, you said you can share the stream.
Yeah, I can share it to a few people.
Nice. Yeah, let's go for that. So I guess I'll just wait. Well, I'll just do like a scuff version of what you wanted, Gina. I'll just wait for a bit. And
Give it like a minute.
If I type something in the chat, does it actually work? Oh, it works. Nice. Yeah, boy. It's fully fun. Oh, why did I close my notes? I'm an idiot. Wait, it's already 12 past.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of fucked this up. Shouldn't have been in such a hurry. Oh well. So, okay. Or do you think we should just go now? Should we activate? If you are on a timer, basically. Wait, Velvet, are you in a hurry?
No, I'm just fucking tired.
That's fair enough. Well, I was thinking maybe we can keep going with just you, if you know what I mean. By the way, does it actually now, does it say I'm streaming? Like the purple thing on Discord, can you see it? No, it's not purple. Okay, so...
Like I said, I think that's only for Twitch.
It only works if you're on Twitch, if you're streaming on Twitch.
I googled it, and apparently you can do something funky, so I can get like through a plugin, you can do something. So I'll have to do that next time. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we can just activate it now. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Oh my god, my hair's a mess.
Bro, my hair looks like shit too, don't worry. We can be together.
Like fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That fixed it a bit. It looks a bit...
No, it's fine.
No, it looks like garbage. No, it's not. It's not fine.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
So what's going on, my dudes? It's me, Baker here, and I'm joined here as always with these two other blokes, where we provide you with the dumbest and hottest takes in FF14. And as you guys can see, we actually have now a name for this thing that we're doing. And Velvet, can you tell me how we came about with this name?
Well, pretty funny. We were thinking about like many different ideas about like, was it what, like, you know, it was a podcast, right? Because like ideally in the future we also want this to have audio format as well, for those people who just listen and doesn't watch. So we were thinking like, oh, it's gonna something related to podcast, right? So we thought, I mean, casting. Oh right, we casting spells in the FF14. So
yeah,
that's how I came up with the idea. We just like, I think we just didn't we just like say random names?
Well,
with the name word cast in it.
Well, for me, what I came to you guys with the suggestion, I was like, well, we have 3 people here, right? So it's like this triple theme, right?
Oh right,
and,
yeah. It was,
and I was like, how do we connect? I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we managed to connect like that idea of like 3 with FF14, you know, like both at the same time. So we thought of like different names like Warring Triad, we thought of Tri-Disaster and things things like that, which are very interesting names. But then Velvet was like, yo, how about Triple Cast? And it's like, it's kind of a nice pun, right? Because it's a podcast with 3 people, right? So Triple Cast. Plus there's like a very convenient icon we can use from the game. So
you know, I will say that the Warring Triad was also pretty good option as well. I was really thinking.
Warring
I was
Triad.
worried we also felt like Triple Triad as well.
Triple Triad.
Unfortunately, though, none of us actually main Black Mage, so you know.
Yeah, we're
but none of us also played. None of us also played Triple Triad though.
True.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
kind of a scam name. Yeah.
I moonlight the Black Mage sometimes, I guess.
It can just be a running joke. So whenever somebody comes up and asks us about what we think our cast is, so yeah, like contrary to the name, every single one of us actually avoid playing caster.
And when I do play it, I just play summoner basically. So it's we're kind of con artists, right? It's like a debate, like a clickbait, basically, right?
We used to
we're not even playing Black Mage.
It's just funny because Summoner has tried disaster.
Yeah, that's why I thought of Tri-Disaster, because I actually play Summoner. I'm so surprised that you thought of Triple Cast when you play Black Mage the least of us, so it's like, well, whatever.
Hey, man, I leveled it.
Yeah.
To 70. Actually, it's to 80.
Yeah, and as you guys can see, there's also a bunch of other improvements I made, such as you should now be able to see the chat in like the top right. There's also, I put some custom music. For now it's just jazz, but honestly you guys can tell me what kind of song you want. I just figure some chill jazz remixes from the FF series would be nice.
Yeah.
And there's also like this tag that says chill convos like below it. So, you know, it's readily apparent what the stream is about. So,
speaking of which, actually, can you link that playlist too? I want to have it in the background for myself as well.
It's an MP4 file, so.
Oh shit. Well,
it's pretty huge.
Okay.
It's kind of big, so I can't really. But I can do it for the next stream.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So again, just let me know what kind of music do you want. Do you want just straight music from the game, like BGM or custom? You know, it's for me, it's whatever. I'm gonna put down in the description like these songs individually once it's over. Oh, also I'm gonna unlist this stream once it's over, because right now it's kind of annoying that once we're done, people get notified basically 2 times. They first get notified when I do the stream, like first publish it, and then again after the condensed version is updated. So if you wanna watch the stream, there's a playlist I have for it, and it's basically unlisted. So that's just a minor change, whatever. So I think that's about it for the changes on the stream. But now we can get to the actual topic, right? Which is Relic content. And this is obviously a good time to be talking about this because, well, we are about to get Relic content in patch 6.2, in 6.25 specifically. And this would just be basically our expectations and like kind of what we want to see from Relic content, right? Because there's obviously different things that people want, and so does one of you want to open up with what you want?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you can lead. Oh, okay.
I can go. It's fine. So
no. I'll start.
Okay.
So basically, this relic is also a bit more interesting, coming off both the ones for Stormblood and Shadowbringers, because this is confirmed that we're not actually going to have a relic area like Eureka or Bosnia from last expansion, which means they're definitely going to fall back on some form of the Realm Reborn or Heavensward ones, potentially. So
really,
there's a lot more interest to speculate. Or at least I feel that's the way they'll be going with it.
Really, because I don't think they actually confirmed or denied if there's going to be a relic area, right?
I can't remember the top of my head, but I think
They haven't said a word.
The fact they haven't said anything about it probably leans into the fact that it's not likely because this was announced very early on in the, like, before Stormblood and Shadowbringers even came out, I believe, that this
I
was
guess
going to be a
that's true.
feature of it.
Hmm.
It's kind of surprising though, because the people kind of liked Bosnia overall, so I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, especially with them developing over like the pitfalls that Eureka fell into at first. Bosnia overall was honestly probably my favorite part of Shadowbringers last expansion as like a new feature. So it's interesting that they're going to be changing direction so suddenly.
You know, it sounds to me like I've always like had this feeling that whenever they made Relic, it was like kind of the testing ground for like trying out new things, like very very often. Like I haven't really like I don't know, like it's like like with the Eureka, right? It was like that was like when it first came out, it was a mess. That was a massive like unique take on how to like approach it, right? And then like they kind of like thought, oh well, let's try and improve on it further, right? Because I do legitimately agree with Jin as well that Basha was actually pretty good. Even though I didn't spend as much time doing it, I was definitely like in the short amount of time I spent there, I definitely like had way more enjoyment in it than in Eureka.
I mean, I do wonder if we're still gonna get something like BA or DRS, because those were pretty nice pieces of content. So I think it's kind of an L if we don't at least get something like that, right?
Yeah, so as well.
Yeah.
But if there's not gonna be a Relic area, I guess the question then becomes like, are they doing, as you said, like fall back on those systems they had earlier, or if they're gonna have like a third option, right? But I guess like one thing that we could say is a positive in this is that, and maybe this is why they did it, is because Eureka and Bosnia have a huge problem, which we can see manifest now in Endwalker, which is that they were fine on content, but when you try to return to those pieces of content, it's like really hard to get things done right by yourself. So maybe that's the idea, to like future-proof it, right?
Yeah. Actually, that is a good point. I actually think that is actually something I would like to see. I actually would like them to actually make sure that these areas don't die. Because when you think about it, like in a pure practical sense, it's huge wasted potential. And it's also the opportunity, right, to like add, all of the like add things to those regions that were giving feedback on what else people wanted, if they wanted more things. One example I can think of, for example, like when they added challenges to Eureka later down to make it easier to level up, right? It's also like another way of like also bringing the old relics back to life to those people who actually want to get that glamour, right? Because like it's I mean, trying to get a Shadowbringer's relic, like, or trying to get a Eureka weapon, honestly sounds like suffering to me, not gonna lie.
At least with the Shadowbringers relics, those were kind of future-proofed by the two different pathways they had, where you don't actually have to you have to go into the zone, but once you do this initial thing, you don't actually have to be in there to progress your relic. Everything can be done outside of it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you still do have to run. You still have to run Castrum, Delubrum, and Dalriada once, which I heard are kind of difficult at times, unless you play on like peak.
I tried to do it. It was pain. It took me 3 weeks to find the peak hour.
I mean, even I remember even at launch getting a putty for Delubrum was a nightmare. But not Delubrum. I mean Castrum.
Yeah. So the one thing I'm sure we can all agree on that we would want to see. Well, actually, let's rewind a bit. There is one rant that I've always made in regards. Well, yeah, many, but one of them is that I'm sure you guys too are sick and tired of the fact that these freaking relics, they keep coming like halfway into the expansion, right? It is so obnoxious. Like, why am I having to wait like a year just to start my relic? Why isn't it there like first patch or whatever, right? It's so bizarre.
Especially when
remember-
the relics themselves are completely underwhelming in terms of like item level and stat.
Yep.
I
Like,
remember we spoke about this one. I think as well it's fucking dumb. Like, it makes no sense. Like, why not just put it at the start of the expansion? Now it doesn't have to be as strong as the raid weapon, but then just I don't know, make it as strong as the tombstone weapon then.
Or the relic itself doesn't even need to be that involved, right? It could be like Heaven's Sword, right? The first step, it was very basic, right? You just do some fates and you got it. But like, there's at least something for us to grind early on. Nowadays, it's like, nah, you don't get anything until 6.20. 6.25? That's like halfway, dude. What? It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I just fact check that now, and especially with the Shadowbringers relics, they were the same item level as the ones from Ruby Weapon, with just 3 extra materia slots. So wow, oh my god, the effort is so worth.
Yep.
The Shadowbringers one came so fucking late as well. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
Like really, really late.
But
Like,
I just wanted to. Sorry, I don't want to get too much into this trend. I just wanted to mention this. Technically, it's not part of the topic, right? Because we're talking about what we wanna see from Endwalker. Because this is like kind of like, I guess, a mistake they already committed to. But it's like, I just wanted to get it out of my system because it pisses me off so much. Like, I just wanted my relic earlier, man. That's all I want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
I think you touched on it, Jin, a bit. The relics being underwhelming. I think that's the first thing I want to touch on because, especially for many in the community, the relics have been really disappointing in both Stormblood and Shadowbringers. And this isn't necessarily even just like the item level. I'm not too concerned with that. I'm talking about the aesthetics, right? They are very... the finished Stormblood relics looked worse than crafted weapons, dude. They were awful. And
I mean, some of the precursor steps as well even looked better than the finished product.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm of the personal theory that they were like straight up just unfinished. Because
my take on it is that I think the models were fine, except like a few outliers. But the glow was like they didn't even think that through.
Yeah, the particle effects they are very weak. And I think that's like the one thing that we can probably all agree that we want from the Endwalker relic. Literally, make it look good. Just have it be good looking. That's all we want, man.
I think
put some effort into it.
And don't cheap out on the glow. Like actually put a lot of thought into it.
Like
I don't ever want to see the Stormblood glow ever again. It was so bad.
Yeah, like some like generic shit, and it's so annoying because the Rumiborn relics and the Heaven's Sword relics, they had so much personality in their design. Like they were all different from each other. And then in Shadowbringers and Stormblood, they're all kind of samey, right? There's not, I mean, you could argue like with semantics, oh, they are different in this and that way, but like, you know what I mean, right? Like they are very similar. I kind of wished, especially for the finalized one, right? You go through all this effort to get the relic, and it's just so bland and generic. Like, I mean, I don't want to bash it too much because I did like some of the Stormblood and Shadowbringers relics, but I do agree with the overall community that they just weren't it. Like, they weren't worth the wait. Especially, again, keep in mind, you have to wait so long for the relic as well. So this is like, these two things kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, I didn't particularly hate the final Shadowbringers relics. In fact, I actually liked the idea of them. But as you mentioned, it's the fact that they all have this exact same like idea of these like, I guess, crystal look to them, that they all just kind of blended into one. There wasn't really anything unique about specific ones, which was just.
I think it's lazy design. Not gonna lie. Like I know, not just that. You know, it's kind of interesting because that kind of already began. Like that's not began. That's kind of already been a thing. Because you know, even the Zeta weapons, they kind of have a similar glow, most of them. At least the melee weapons. Yep. But it's the difference just is that they have the different color motifs, right, on each class instead of each role.
Yep. And there's like a lot of detail as well to each of them, which is important to remember.
even without the global weapons, all those Zeta relics honestly look really, really nice. So
There's also but I will say one thing though is that when it's obviously also a matter of taste as well. Like, of course, no shit, but
Yeah.
in that but that's kind of like what makes it sting extra even more, in my opinion, because by the end of the day, from our perspective, these weapons are just skins.
Yep.
That's all they are, and that's why we criticize their look so much, because the value of them doesn't come from the stats. If anybody in the audience like are looking at relics from the stat perspective, then like that's a completely different issue to talk about. That is like literally that's the debate about the gear system in the game in general.
Especially for people who raid a lot, the stats are meaningless essentially. You just use relics for glam, and that's about it, right? And they just, I could see like one defense for the developers, which is that obviously we do have way more jobs nowadays, so it's extra work. You know, the more jobs are added, the more work it is, right? That's kind of obvious. But I do think that the final relic, now I'm not talking about the previous, just the final like 6.55 relic, I think that deserves like extra care, extra effort, development time. I think it deserves it because it should be special. And yeah.
I mean, I can agree with that, especially because even with both Shadowwings and Stormbloods, the not final models of the relics, I honestly liked pretty much all of them. Like, as a weapon model, they were all fine.
Yep.
And to fit that purpose, it's just, you know, after all that work, when the final product is disappointing, that's when I start to have an issue with it. Like, I have several unfinished relics that I just use and aren't really bothered to finish because I like how they look already than the finished product.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest gripe that I personally have, or like not gripe. Sorry, I'm being disingenuous. More like the biggest thing I hope they can reverse and go back to essentially.
Quite certain that like the reason to why the last step like had less interesting, well, not interesting is not right, I guess more like higher quality designs is unironically because of the fact that they diverted time, more time into developing the new open worlds, you know, with Boscia and Eureka. And as a direct consequence of that is, well, less time allocated to the people who has to do the design of the actual rewards.
That could very well be. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, like purely like from business economic standpoint, right? Like obviously, like well, you're adding something completely new, which means like okay, well, in short, that means your programmers now have to be given the hours that was actually originally intended to be given into the artist.
There's the ultimate weapons as well, which weren't a thing in Heavensward and Storm Realm Reborn, right? So that's another thing where they have to put time into making those particle effects as well.
Yeah, and chances of them, and like I'm quite certain like they're not dealing with new staff. Oh well, sorry, not new staff. They're not dealing with extra staff. They're probably most likely still dealing with the same amount of people on the team as they had ever since Heavensward, probably.
It's limited amount of resource, so when you allocate those resources elsewhere, then obviously something has to give in, right? So that's just how it is, yeah. And it's not like you can just you know, get more artists with money. Like, yo man, let me dish out some money and materialize artists. Like, that's not really how that works.
You technically can, but I think Square Enix is the kind of company who wouldn't dare doing that to an important IP like Final Fantasy.
That's true.
They would probably only want in-house artists. I don't think they would ever consider doing contractors unless that contractor is like, you know, already known to be working on Final Fantasy games to begin with. One example, right, is like the artist who paints the like, you know, he actually traditionally paints the cover art for Final Fantasy, right? Yeah, he's actually a contractor, I'm pretty certain. I don't think he actually shows up into the studio. He just, you know, every once in a while he gets like a massive contract from them, like make this, and there you go, he makes it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine how much. Oh my god. Imagine what's gonna happen when he dies.
Uh-oh. I think I messed up. Oh, that's fine. But yeah, the other thing is that like kind of related to this, right? Would be something I do miss. This is from Army Born, right? When relics had more flavor to them. That's personally something I wished returned. And when I say flavor, I basically mean each individual relic having like actual story to them. You know, if you know what I mean, right? Like in Stormblood and Shadowbringers and Heavensward, the relics just had one unified storyline, but there was nothing to really distinguish each relic. I don't know. I personally enjoyed all the little like snippets surrounding each relic in A Realm Reborn. But this again, I do understand. Like going back to the thing that there are so many jobs nowadays that would be so much work for the lore team. So I guess, but that is something I do miss. That. What's up?
I have a I don't my take on that would literally just be like, well, why what is stopping them from just corresponding the relic quest with your class quest?
Right.
Like it's literally just you get this weapon, okay, and then you just write like a few lines of coming back over to your class trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine you get like I don't know the fuck. Imagine you get the Deathbringer. Well, okay, Deathbringer already exists in the game, but like imagine a relic version of the Deathbringer, and then you go back to where you first met Frey, and then there's gonna be like maybe a small talk box that just shows up, like, oh, Frey speaks to you because you have the Deathbringer. Cool.
The only counterpoint I can really see to this as well, in terms of, or not really a counterpoint, in kind of like justifying why they don't do this, is that even when you compare this to other games who might have their own, you know, relic equivalent like content, such as like, you know, legendary weapons, in stuff like WoW, they only really implement these like one at a time, but they do put this extra effort in of giving this one like legendary weapon a story or a background. But even then, like, you know, they only had one at a time. I remember, like, for example, in Cataclysm, there was a staff, and that was that legendary weapon. If you didn't use a staff, then, you know, that's suddenly not content for you anymore. So
I think they want to avoid doing that, because then you run the risk of like players feeling discriminated, right? Like players would be like, hey Yoshida, why didn't Dragoon get more story, whereas Dancer did, or whatever, right? And then people would be pissed.
But like, I mean, or in another game, for example, with Guild Wars also having a legendary system, they do have one for every weapon class in that game, but last time they rolled them out like one at a time. Every patch, it was like, okay, we add a new one to this class. Some people might not be able to use it, but it's the only way they could reasonably implement these and put this much effort into them. So if they roll all these relics out for all 19 classes at once, then it's a lot more understandable why they wouldn't want to take this approach, because it's just so much effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Blue Mage should have relics?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, of
I
course.
mean, well,
why not?
I mean,
Why
at
not?
least we get the special like weapons for doing all the challenge mode thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something at least.
That's like, I guess, equivalent to having a relic, because if anything, it's kind of what we just talked about, because this is like, you know, to get this, you have to show that you understand the class and were able to do the challenges of the Masked Carnival to get it.
That's true.
So if anything, they could be even more prestigious than the relics we have currently.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if there won't be a relic area, well, Jin, you already kind of touched on this, but Velvet, what do you expect them to do instead? Do you think it's just gonna be fates, or?
I actually, well, okay, the first phase, the very first phase, I'm quite certain that they're gonna like implement, like gemstones are gonna probably be related in some manner.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I think either gemstones, hunts, like I'm pretty certain like they're gonna make use of like one of the current currencies in the game. I really get a feeling about that.
So make sure
but
you are
later down
capped
the
on.
line,
So make sure you are capped
yeah,
on gemstones before the patch.
yeah, be capped on everything, guys. But but the next phase, I'm quite certain that the new format, and the variant and stuff will probably be related to it.
Really? I mean, it is interesting though, because they did announce just now that I was really surprised, because I expected Island Sanctuary to be 6.25 and the 4-man dungeons to be 6.2. But apparently it's the other way around. The Island Sanctuary comes with 6.2 and the 4-man's with 25. So it will be the same patch as Relic, so maybe that's on purpose.
What is interesting, actually, and I actually only just realized this, is because we know these Relic weapons are going to be the Mandeville weapons, and most likely going to involve Godbert as a character. Godbert being a major member of the Uldan Syndicate, and the 4-man dungeon being in Fanalan, there is a connection there.
Yeah,
true.
And on top of that, oh yeah, that's another thing as well. I actually would like them to see. I would like to have a reason besides random dumb shit to do the gold saucer. And Godbird, the Mandeville family, owns the gold saucer.
Imagine if it was the MGP dump.
1 million MGP to complete this step.
Wouldn't it be it would be hilarious if, like, the final step, either you do the really long quest chain, or you pay 1 trillion MGP to just skip it all.
Oh man, that'd be nice.
Is there even a cap up MGP?
I don't think there is.
There is 10 million.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so either you do the quest, or you pay 10 million MGP up front, and you just skip it all.
Oh, there should be, like, you guys remember in the Realm Reborn Relic, like in one of the final, like very final steps, there's like this troll where the Gerald tells you, like, there's like this 0.1% chance that this relic succeeds or it's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
And you can like decline it. No, don't do it. They should have one troll where it's like, Godbert tells you, like, hey man, you're gonna pay 5 million MGP and you can decline it, and it turns out to be just a troll. That'd be so funny, man. Oh shit. I'm kind of looking forward to the storyline though, because it seems really interesting, right, with Hildebrand. I mean, there was some people complaining.
I can't wait for his wife to start doing stuff.
Yeah, because think about it, right? And there's so many, like, crafters involved here, right? We have the best goldsmith, the best blacksmith, then we have Yalzan, like the alchemist from the Realm Reborn relics, and then we have Julian, which would be like the the master culinarian, I guess. With the frying pan.
Oh yeah, that's another thing as well. Like, Island Sanctuary is probably also most likely going to be related to it in some way.
You think so? I don't think so.
Oh really?
Yeah, I personally don't think so either.
Why not?
I just think it's just an entirely different vein of content.
Well, it better be good then.
But I did want to touch back on again with the so specifically, you said the Hildebrand connection, but it's specifically the Mandeville connection that they mentioned.
That's the whole family.
Or I don't even know if it's going to be the whole family, because my guess, and one thing I saw a lot of people fretting about, is like, oh no, if they'd be related to Hildebrand in some way, if like all these weapons are just going to be kind of like memes, and they're just going to be like comedy weapons or something that just look kind of stupid. But my personal theory is that it's specifically just going to involve Godbert being the greatest goldsmith in the land. And when you consider Godbert as a character, he's not really like the way his comedy is applied. It's just the fact, like, his existence is funny.
God.
Like
He's just God.
he just does, like,
he's literally in the name.
Like, powerful thing. Like, he doesn't like crack like jokes. He's not a comedian. He just runs up and like suplexes someone. He's just strong, and he's also.
This guy walks into all DSR and like
one shot stored, and with with the goldsmith LB3, he just
he one shots them all.
Yeah,
he
but
ignores mechanics.
Even then, this character almost has his serious side where he's a member of the Syndicate of Uldar, Like
Yeah,
he literally shows up in the MSQ to do serious things. At some
and he's
point,
literally
so-
the Santa Claus of this setting too, and everything. Like this dude is legit. Like
Yeah, he's canonically Santa Claus.
So that kind of dispels like my theory that these are just going to be like joke weapons, but like they have the potential to be these like ridiculous epic things because of like the way Godbert exists as a character.
I have one thing I'm thinking that since they are bringing him back, I kind of am hoping to see like another version of the kettles.
oh yeah, boy. Yes.
I don't know,
That would be
something
awesome.
like at least like an extra side thing. But I don't want it to be class specific though. I would like it to like something universal. Like I don't know, give us a funny hat or some shit. Give us these
Nah,
glasses.
If we get one thing for class specific though, I'd want his giant goldsmith hammer as a warrior weapon.
Hell yeah. That would be quite some.
They're just gonna make it universal. Everybody gets ammo.
All that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really fun. I also would I would very much like to see.
Yo, guys, read what Olina said in the chat.
What's up?
It's going to be like One Punch Man where he hits the relic with a serious control and it upgrades the weapon.
Yes.
Oh,
That's not Olina, but that's Blue Typhoon.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
you get
Bro,
those,
I need to get my glasses. One sec. Chat is
you get
too
those,
far, man. I can't see it.
You get those cutscenes where like with the relic, whenever you upgrade, it's like it fades to black. You hear like, I can't forget his name.
Oh, it is Blue Typhoon. You're right.
Oh, God, help me. What's the blacksmith's name again? I actually forgot.
Which one of them? Geralt.
Yeah, so
Geralt.
you hit Geralt like hammer away, and then it's like, oh, your weapon's done. Instead, it's just gonna be weapon down, God, but it just goes like boom, and it's done.
Oh right, what's the name of the other? What's the name of the Shadowbringer's Geralt? The other dude, the one with the hair.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he
forgot
needs to
his
be involved.
name.
or something.
Yeah, it was like
Really close.
play on his like the same words. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does. That's the thing. He doesn't do anything in Shadowbringer. He just gives you your antiquated gear. That's all he gets.
But he's kind of a weird dude, right? He like sets up this like forge like underwater, like for whatever reason, and he's like, bro, what? Why are you down there?
He doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's Gerald with hair. That's all that
I
matters.
mean, he's also not very efficient because it took him 2 bloody years to give us the ability to dye weapons. So
Yeah.
It would be really fun to have him involved. Like you imagine, like fucking Godberry, we all like, well, it would seem we need something from a different dimension. So you just go.
You know what? You know what would be awesome? Like Grenold or whatever his name is, right? Because the MSQ deals with us like inventing ways to travel from Shard to the source or vice versa. We transport this dude to the source and have him rejoin with Gerald, so this dude becomes 8 times rejoin and he becomes the ultimate blacksmith. Yeah, boy.
Wait, this brings another old question. Wait, does this also mean, does there exist in the first? Does that mean there's a Godbird Mandeville somewhere in the first?
Most likely, I mean, they have Rowena as well, for example, and stuff like that, so he's gotta be out there somewhere.
It would be so funny if we find, what if we find like the Shadowbringers Mandevilles?
See, but now you're implying that Godbert isn't unsundered, which is definitely very
Oh
potential.
shit.
Oh, maybe he was. Maybe he's the last ancient. Maybe he's Rahabrea.
Oh shit.
Damn,
Oh,
the
wow,
theories
wow.
are getting hot now. Now he could be Athena as well. Okay, well I'm going too far with it. Well, but yeah, I'm honestly looking forward to the storyline though, because it seems very interesting, right? Because as you said, when people saw it, they were like, "Oh, it's just gonna be like because the Hildebrand humor is kind of hit or miss, right? Some people don't like it. I personally love it because I love that kind of super cheesy humor. But yeah, as you said, I don't think it's gonna be like. There's probably gonna be some humor for sure, like comic relief. But I do think it's gonna be as well like really interesting storyline. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I'm hoping that there's gonna be multiple options for progressing, because that's something that I personally like. I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
I love when they do that.
I do think they should keep doing that. It is kind of interesting though, because the previews, like with Bosnia, right, it made sense that you had basically 2 paths. Like with one path, you could do Bosnia content, like inside of Bosnia, and the other path was outside of it, which would be like 24 man's fates or whatever outside of Bosnia. But if we don't have a Relic area, I wonder what the path will be like. Will it be like, or you can choose between grinding fates or grinding hunts or whatever, right? I don't know what it's gonna be. So
my guess is honestly they're just gonna do the same thing they did in Heaven's Ward. Is that it's literally just poetics, tombstones,
like, crystal sand step.
That's spend it on like
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Please no.
Well, at least
they all just remember the crystal
though,
sand step.
I'm really hope. Yes, but here's the thing though. It was, in my personal opinion, that was the best step. That was the best step in my opinion.
I mean, conceptually,
I didn't really think so.
Conceptually, it was good. I like the idea that, well, you can just play the game normally and progress things, right? It's a pretty solid idea.
Yeah,
and maybe that is something
that I'm hoping
they can,
that's gonna happen is that they. I'm really hoping that they're gonna like take all of the steps that like obviously had the most like people like the most.
Yeah.
And like combine them together into this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke about the crystal sand step being bad, but the main reason that step was so bad for many people is because, apart from it taking ages, people also, because it took ages, had to like optimize it, which eventually became down to, okay, run this same dungeon.
Yeah.
God knows how many times, because it gives like the most tombstones per hour.
But at least you know that was a choice.
But you could technically do other things. However, like I'm remembering probably the part of the Shadowbringers where like I hated the most was the first Delibrum step, where it's like, yeah, just do it 15 times. Like,
yeah,
really?
I think the problem with the crystal sand step was there, like, if you did only one relic, like let's say you just did the relic for your main, and you were fine with waiting like a couple of months, that you just got it over time, like naturally just playing, doing roulettes and shit. I mean, that was fine. The problem just was, if you wanted to do more than one relic, then you had to really grind your ass off. So
always make sure to play with bonuses.
Well,
because
I do think
you gotta keep the context in mind too, because this came out at the same time as you had Wondrous Tales being new.
Well, I don't want to delve too much into old content, but I do think that the way Shadowbringers did it, they kind of managed to fix this problem, right? Because Shadowbringers Relic had this thing going on where the first relic was the hardest, but if you did like a subsequent relic, like all of the steps or most of the steps in Shadowbringers, right, they had like this initial step, but it was a one-time step. So once you did it, you didn't have to do it anymore, and that one step was usually pretty grindy, right? For example, when you needed like 30 of each of the books, like 4 times, I think, or something like that. But you only had to do it once, so I hope they do that again, because I actually like that idea.
Speaking of that step, a big L to anyone who didn't unlock that step before unlocking Zadnor for the first time. Because anyone who was doing that while leveling a bear, easy. Anyone who didn't do that, I'm so sorry.
It was the same in Pagos, where people didn't unlock the night step and they went to max level. Oh man. Rip.
Big L.
And what do you guys think about Relic armor? Do you think would you guys want to see? Because we did get the Judge Magister armor in Shadowbringers, and the elemental armor in Eureka. I'm hoping we get to see something like that. I honestly do. Do you guys think that the Relic armor should also have like particle effects, like make you glowy as fuck and stand out?
Within limited capacity.
I wanted to still look good.
I want to be able to see myself.
Or at least give the option to turn it off.
I can't remember what it is, but there's this one set from A Realm Reborn, and I can't even remember where you get it, but it has like glowing effects on the shoulders.
Yeah, it's the crafted armor set.
It's like one crafted set, or like I think maybe even though it was like a PvP thing, but it's something like that. Like that, I'm fine with. Any like full body effect, it's like no, please. I want to be able to see it and not get distracted mid raid.
Yeah. I do want to see more armor because the relic weapon is fine, but armor is always nice because then you can also combo it with the relic and look really badass.
Yeah.
Like
not gonna-
a good example is the elemental fending set. Like so many to this day rock that armor because it just makes you look so badass. So
I really would like. Well, okay, this is like wishful thinking, but I really wish that they would like the whole process of getting your relic is also the process of also upgrading the antiquated gear as well. Like not the antiquated, the artifact gear. I mean.
I think this is one of those things where it makes sense on content, but again, it becomes kind of obnoxious later on because if you want to upgrade, well, actually now you can buy it with PvP, but like before that, if you wanted to upgrade Stormblood AF gear, like dye them, you had to go grind Anemos for like one thing, and likewise for Shadowbringers, you have to kill this EX trial. And it's very, I actually like what they did with Endwalker. They just, right off the bat, just, okay, you can die it if you do the role quest.
Oh, you misunderstand what I meant. What I meant is that, like, I wanted like, whenever a new model comes out for the relic, right? I wanted an artifact gear in the same design style as that to come along with it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's like the first time they announced, like, you know, relic gear in Eureka. Like, I was really hoping that was the idea. Of course, that turned out not to be the idea. But honestly, like, in my personal opinion, that is what I would rather see. I would like, I'm still somewhat deep down, I'm still hoping that one day they're gonna like make, like, eventually finally decide to say, all right, we're doing it, and gonna have like a relic weapon that you progress alongside an artifact armor.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this is what you're saying, but like, if you're implying that, like, you know, every single class gets its own armor set, the only problem is that is an absolutely ungodly amount of work for the design team. Like, way more than even just for weapons alone.
I know. So we need to decide what we cut. So get rid of my Mahjong and triple track and
Yes.
lost to a minion.
Agree. Yeah, just.
But like, I mean, I was
actually no, triple track can stay, but fuck lost of a minion.
I was personally fine with the implementation of like the way they did the design for both the Law's Order armor and the Elemental armor, where you kind of have these three sets, kind of like other MMOs, where you have like the heavy looking one for tanks and dragoon, the medium ones for all the melees and fizz range, and then you have the light one for caster and healer. Like breaking it down to these three, I think is fine and would probably be a reasonable assumption, but definitely one per job is no way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just jaded. I give them my money, so I want more.
Well, did you buy the Shiba mount on the mock station?
Not yet.
Oh.
You think if I buy it, they're gonna listen to me?
Yeah, maybe get access to the special developer forum.
Yeah, just become a Fantasia
I
addict
wish.
and give them like 50 euros a month. I'm sure they'll start listening.
That's not enough. You need to also speak Japanese as well. Also, welcome to the screen, Colin.
Hello. So, I guess, how would I put this?
Go on.
If there won't be a relic area, then do you think it's gonna be engaging enough regardless, just with using old systems?
I mean, we got tons of stuff in the open world that they can just put in the open world.
I mean, I don't think they're going to entirely fall back on old systems, but like, I think they're just going to go for a blend. Like, after thinking about it, I do think there's very much potential that the new 4-man dungeons, whatever they're going to be called now, would play a part of it. Maybe even.
Yeah, that would be really badass if the relic actually enhanced your ability to do those dungeons as well, like the Eureka relic in BA, right? That kind of thing. Like, not a huge advantage, but you know, like something tiny, like, I don't know, 3 haste or something like that, right? That would be nice.
And we could, like the last Shadowbring as well, we could potentially see it be tied into the new deep dungeon they're implementing for a step.
Oh, right. We do have the deep dungeon this time, I forgot about that.
think you guys are really underestimating how easy it is for them to implement something that's going on in the open world. Because when a holiday event starts, you can literally stand in the area you're standing, and it will just activate, and then all the shit has spawned right in front of you. I think like them using the open world to its full advantage wouldn't be that hard, as well. Like you can, I think that implementing a new system into the open world so that would actually be really easy.
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, my ground minimum expectation is like, oh, we're just going to be doing fates again, aren't we? But if we do see some kind of improvement in that area, like
Fates
just
2.0.
new stuff they just add out of nowhere, then yeah, I'm definitely happy to see. And I mean, I at least hope that they do something new here, because I mean, we've done the Heavensward Relic, we've done the Realm Reborn Relic, we've been through doing these, like, just oh yes, fates. Even the Shadowbringers Relic made us do old fates.
It is a good point. A new player will have a completely like different outlook on this, right? They don't have the experience of having to go through like 5 expansions of this nonsense. Yeah.
I think that's also their least concern. If I'm completely honest, they only I think they only start concerning themselves with unique content once you get deeper into the progression of it. Because that's when that's how I think that's how they determine who are long-term players or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think they give much of a fuck if somebody falls off the boat already on the first initial process.
I mean, the only problem I have with that is that once again, playing this game for so long, you kind of pick up the idea that every time the dev team does something new, the first attempt is always a bit
Yeah, it's kind of
like Eureka, Blue Mage,
Ishgard, everything.
Like countless things. The very first time they do it is always like
That's
there's
why
so
I'm
much
so
blatant improvement that a lot of people do just end up just bouncing off, and
that is why I'm so concerned for like variant dungeons and this 4-man dungeons and Island Sanctuary and all this stuff, right? Because it's gonna be the first time. So I'm like, oh no, is it gonna be? It's like a 50-50, right? Is it gonna be bad?
Like, with all due respect, usually when you have the time to refine these systems, they get good. Like if you see Bosja, in fact, not even going that far, the future, like the later Eureka steps compared to the first ones were like night and day in quality and enjoyment.
Absolutely.
And the only Eureka part that really stands out is Pegos being fucking garbage. In my honest opinion, like the other ones was okay. They were decent.
Contain my thoughts about it until the Eureka episode, I think, because that was a step.
I do agree with Kangan. Well, I guess I'm a bit biased because I am a veteran player, but yeah, they do need to balance it where the relic content is exciting, not just for the newcomers, but also for the veterans. Like, just don't repeat the old mistakes that we had to deal with. That's the perk of being a new player, right? You don't have to deal with the nonsense.
There's something really interesting that I came to think about, actually. I think this is actually their way of making sure they're not falling into the same trap that WoW is whenever it comes to implementing new systems. Is by trying to keep the relic progression separate from the majority of the rest of the game.
Right.
So they basically keeping all the things that work just fine, not touching it too much, i.e. Savage progression, like a deep dungeon, whatever, fates, all these things, main story, they're not fiddling too much with it, just like doing small things. And then like when the relic comes out, that's when they go crazy. Like, okay, well, let's come up with something weird, and then they just do that.
Yeah,
and that's the way. That's the way of protecting the things that work.
I mean, we've all known, like, on one hand, we say we played this game for so long, but some of this stuff, like looking at the whole progression system and how it's like the same every time. Sure, it's dry, but I mean, we're still here, so it clearly works.
Yep.
And we know what to expect. It's reliable.
Yeah. They keep coming back.
And it's like, okay, this is good. Don't touch it. Like, leave it. Don't mess with it, or we fuck everything up.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
Going through other means completely separate from this central system to try and take these risks, and they do take risks. Sometimes they don't work, but they improve on them, and they haven't tainted the core game, which is important.
Oh my
Colin
god,
brought
Colin,
up something interesting about
the
light.
light farm. Oh no.
Light farm was shit, but I actually have something to say about that. The Heavensward stalwart farming actually, I think actually that was fun.
It was fine,
was-
but again, it had the same problem where if you wanted to do multiple, because it took so freaking long, especially if you just did it manually. So then most people resorted to spamming A1S or A9S if you had the skill for it. So
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's the part I liked. Is that like if you like when you managed to get that one group, it was just like, oh my god, like what the fuck? I found god players who can actually do the fight, and it's stalwart. We're getting mega bonus.
The difficult content known as A9S.
the striking
Yes.
dummy.
It's like
I mean,
Honestly-
dude, there were so many parties that disbanded on A9S, like Night Farm, like they just couldn't do it. Even in Stormblood
can
mods at level 70.
I can actually speak from experience that I had better luck in A9S farm parties in Heavensward than A1S parties because
Really?
when you go, at that point in the expansion, a lot of people had already done their relics, they don't want alt jobs, and I shit you not, in those A1S parties, you actually had more tanks and healers than DPS players, and you just couldn't do it.
yeah, it was fucking annoying.
Yeah, Kang and I do prefer precise tracking over like vague, like, oh, the light is glowing faintly. Like, what the fuck does that even mean, man?
It's like, yeah, I remember, like, you know, for like the glowing runes, you have to track your progress on in the Heavensward.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like-
oh, I think this one's almost done. You're doing this. It's like, oh wait, no,
Like,
it's still not done. Wait,
can we
what?
just have a number or a percentage, like, please?
Something I really real fucking shit. I fucking hate the means of like tracking. Sometimes like tracking quest related things in the game.
Yep.
Is fucking annoying. Like I really like. Why do I have to open this fucking book? It's like, oh, okay, I'm at 10%. Like, can't I just fucking have a meter that show up like it's like a gauge or some shit that tells me like, yeah, I'm making this much progress.
Yeah.
It's so annoying having to like click 3 times just to see whether or not I'm closer to the next step in my relic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's fucking annoying.
So moving on from this topic, sorry, we have to kind of speed run this like pressure first. Well, not exactly, but I do want to move on. I do think that like regardless if they will actually do a relic area or something similar, I do hope that we get to see some benefits of the BA Eureka type of content. Like for one, the extra actions you could use to like customize your gameplay a bit. I think it would be a shame if we lost that. Or like having haste gear, where you can make your job go faster. I love playing Reaper at 2-second GCD, for example, stuff like that. And also, we mentioned it at the start, but I would think it would be a huge blunder if we didn't get another like BA/DRS raid, because people love those. Like people run them all the time. Like I'm looking right now. On one of these discords, there's 3 runs scheduled for today, 2 on BA and 1 on DRS. Like people still run this like 3 years later, like because they love this content. So it would be a huge missed opportunity if they don't try to implement it in some way.
And they had like, you know, actual awards behind them, like of the BA with the like the Zantensuken skins for other weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I know me and Baker did, and Velvet didn't, but like me and Baker both did. Actually, no, you did BA really late, didn't you, Baker? Or fairly late?
Well, because I was in the military when the patch came out, so it was like 2 weeks later when I did it. It wasn't really late though. Like 2 weeks in, it was still kind of fresh. But
But I mean, yeah,
No, I
when
did
I
it-
did both.
no, I cleared it week 4. Week 4, that's when I cleared it exactly. So
Yeah,
I didn't do it like
I did,
immediately, but yeah. Sorry. Move on.
I did both BA and Dillabrum Savage pretty like fairly early. Like I was in
Yeah,
like some of
same.
the initial, some of like the first Europe clears and doing that.
Yeah, I
stuff,
was in the
like,
same run as
that
you,
was
right?
So yeah, for DR you're in the same group as me. BA
Yeah.
was something else. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's so refreshing and different to have this. Like it was honestly some of my favorite memories of the game. Like doing this stuff because it's such like, you know, a big group that requires organization to get through this stuff, and it's like, you know, I think it has its place in this game, its own content.
Obviously, it comes into its memes. Like in BA, for example, you had to wait like an hour to get in, and then some twat snipes your portal, and well, then in Dillabrum, the we all know the biggest nemesis of DRS, which is the ready check. So it does come with those memes, but it was very fun. I agree, it was so much fun. And also the bosses are actually unique because they actually, in that content, they actually have the balls to experiment a bit. Stuff like hot and cold and super chess and this kind of stuff. Such cool mechanics. And if they don't build on that, I think they will have fucked up, to be honest.
The only encounter in Delibrum I think is just underwhelming is the dinosaur Dahu. Like that's the only one where it's a bit like meh.
Yeah.
But like I think even like the slimes, even the bloody phantom, I think are like, you know, there's cool things going on here.
Yeah. Very fun stuff.
And the duel, of course. Yeah, it's like
oh yeah. We didn't even touch on that. The duels is another thing that I don't know about you guys, but I would kind of want to see it return. Obviously, in last stream we suggested like you can duel in the open world for like gemstones. That would be also a cool idea. But I do think the duels were a cool idea.
They just need to be more accessible. That was the only flaw with that content, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
The fights themselves were great, but the accessibility of it was like. Yeah. I mean, I still haven't finished my final duel, and it's like, ugh.
It's like a rare instant.
Like I can do it, but it's so much effort to get into it.
Yeah, it's like a rare instance of solo content, like proper solo content, and it's like so much fun. Like it's just you versus this one dude, and it's like go, like see if you can defeat him. It's so awesome.
And every class is like almost on the same playing field.
Yeah. So
there's
like
to watch you fail.
Yeah, that too. The pressure, dude. The pressure. I can't take it. There's like 50 dudes watching me fuck up. No, just kidding. But yeah, there's many things like that where I think it will be really a shame if we don't build on those in Endwalker.
One crazy idea, and this thing I don't really expect because the main selling point of the Relic is that they're catch up, and anyone needs to be able to do them. Like they're casual content, so they can't they can't lock it behind Savage or some meme.
Of course.
But I'd love to see like.
Of course they can. Just make an alternative route.
Or that, pay 2,000 tomestones or do this. But some kind of tailor-made, or at least to like role specific, duel type encounters would be cool.
Yeah.
Basically, I want Mage Tower.
You get to clear ultimate and get it faster. You get to grind 500 dungeons.
Yeah, like you can trade in a legendary Forden totem for
massive progress.
Skip step.
Yeah, boy. I do like Karan's comment.
Everyone else gets to grind dungeons.
Karan's comment reminded me like of the people who like they get into the duel, right? And they don't. Let's say you need to like reflect at the start of the fight and they don't have it and they just get clapped like literally first 5 seconds of the fight. It's so funny, dude.
Literally me.
I still have this video, but there's this one time me and Baker, we watched this guy with, it was specifically the reflect duel with Menenius.
Yeah.
Where instead of that, he
brought the invuln. Yeah, he brought the invuln and he tried to invuln it, but it didn't work.
Yeah, no, those things just keep firing.
That was so funny, oh my god.
Yeah, then it's like, you watch that one guy duel, he gets fucking re-raised like 4 times in the same fight, you do it, you die once, it's like, nope.
Yep. It's pretty funny. I do find that kind of stuff entertaining, so yeah, I really hope they do that stuff. So, sorry, we're a bit short on time because Jin has to go. So, to recap, what we would want to see from Relic content, first of all, well, this is for like the next time you do them. Introduce them earlier, please. Number 2, make them not look like shit. Number 3, was actually, we talked about like flavor, but we kind of agreed that maybe the flavor thing is like, could be a bit difficult to implement. And 4, sorry, we're looking forward to like the storyline. The storyline is probably gonna be lit, so really excited for that. I think those were the main points, right? And make them solo. And future-proof them so that future-proof them better than Eureka and Bosnia, please. That would be nice too.
I mean, that's at least like the generic points of the Relic system as a whole. But obviously, for this one, I'd like at least them to, try something new. Like at least don't just rehash.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, innovate a bit, but also we would prefer like some of those old things too, right? Like the duels and the actions and the BA and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's about it. Did you guys still have something more to add? Or are we done here?
I ain't got nothing now.
I ain't gonna. This was kind of a shorter topic actually, because I mean, I guess there isn't too much to discuss about Relic. Like Relic is kind of just it's content that is going and you grind, right? There isn't too much to talk about it.
Yeah, literally all there is to say, what do I not want?
Yeah, but I mean, because the system, the content isn't out yet, we can merely only speculate, and I guess we're trying to avoid talking too much about Eureka and Bosnia because that's just its own can of worms to open up.
Yeah, not to mention and gearing as well, etc.
Well, Kangan sadly, Jin is not gonna be doing something pleasant. He's just gonna go wipe in the ultimate, so he's gonna enjoy that. But yeah, that's
and also are you gonna stream it, Jin?
Not tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes Jin streams it, so you can check him out on Twitch, like Jin Rashax. He sometimes streams.
Other way around, mate.
Yeah.
We'll plug that later.
Yeah. So again, for those who join in just now, this stuff here in the top left, it's just a name we came up for our little thing here. We called it the triple cast, right? Because it's like a little pun where we have three people talking, so there's like a triple, and it's a podcast, so triple cast. Funny meme, right? And there's some other improvements, and let me know again about the music if you want something else than jazz or just regular BGM. But this has been all for this time. I'm gonna make this video unlisted and again just upload a condensed version. So if you two don't have anything to add, that would be about it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yes.
Genius.
Have fun, guys.
Hey, Velvet, someone called you a genius. Oh, Moon
I'm a genius?
Yeah.
Why?
You came up with the name.
Oh. Well,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, some of us just are born genius.
God, anime got this. Ay.
What, the mechanic or the song?
Oh my god. Fuck this. Yeah. I'm gonna make I have some ideas for the next time when we stream, so yeah, look forward to it, as they say. Well, that's been all for this time. Sorry.
Anyways, I was just gonna to all you guys watching, in case you're wondering, unless I don't know if you announced it to these guys yet, to your viewers, this Baker, but basically we're trying to always stream every Sunday at around, well, what time do we start normally?
6 p.m. GMT every Sunday. Yeah, that's when we try to stream. We discuss topics about FF14, general like topics such as this, like Relic or open world. We'll probably next time, a fun topic I was thinking of, we'll discuss like jobs we want to see in the future. I think that would make for a very interesting topic. So we basically as it literally says there, is just chill convos about FF14. And if you want, or rather, I also appreciate the chat. Like this time we also had a lot of chat. It's the engagement makes this very interesting. That's why we want to stream this, right? So that there's some interaction, and I think it's awesome that you guys are popping into the chat and giving your thoughts.
Yeah. If you guys got any interesting topics to talk about, you're also free to like bring it up into the chat, and maybe we'll talk about it next time. Yeah. And of course, also questions are always welcome, like mid podcast as well. Just like, of course, bear in mind, we'll have to finish our conversation until we start answering questions.
Yep. So that's been all. 6 p.m. GMT next Sunday. That's 11 a.m. PDT for you Americans out there. And that's all. Have a nice day.
Yeah, see you guys.
Farewell.
Damn.